When I'm not in the studio, I'm diving into my hobbies and exploring many interests. With that comes my personal uncensored insights on anything and everything. Are you ready for it? This is The Slam Show.
Yeah! What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of The Slam Show for March 13th, 2017. I am your host, Slam and Sam, coming at you on this great Monday evening here in Oakland, California. We no longer have any rain. It's just sun. It was a top down, ass up type of day.
Oh, yeah.
Had to bring the Exciter over here. It's my little convertible. Had to enjoy that little ride. But yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We got a lot of good stuff for this particular episode. And this one is sponsored by Your Chef Express out of Brentwood. So if you guys want to have some of the best setup meals for your workout and you want to stay on the healthy tip, please check out yourchefexpress.com and they'll hook you up with the best orders. And we got that for you guys.
Oh, nice.
As some gifts on the way out.
All right, can't wait to try it.
Oh, it's dope. It's really cool. Rock Rage, my producer back here, he already tried it, and he's like, man, this is incredible. Mm-hmm. And when he says it's incredible, that means across the board. It's thumbs up. So, yeah, yourchefexpress.com. Be sure to check them out for your custom meal needs. All right, guys, if you haven't done so, please follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at I Am Slammin'. Also, this Wednesday night at 7:30 Pacific time is another edition of the Slammin' Mix Show, 2 hours of interactive mixing fun. And I have to kind of quote interactive because when people are in the chat room / comments area, they're just going at it disc. And they're just letting everyone know that they're there. Plus, they're letting me know what they want to hear.
Right.
Hey, if I could play the requests, great. If not, they just have to deal with my remixes.
There you go.
You know how we do it. It's like, play my stuff, and that's what I will do. So, yeah, check that out this Wednesday on Facebook Live. My profile is I Am Slammin'. All right. And, also check out the YouTube channel at TVEPN. We have a lot of new content. Are you on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Check out the channel disc. It's pretty cool. That's where your classic home turf video was placed on. Well, and luckily my intern was able to find that and was able to hook us up, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, comment on all the videos that you guys are checking out on the YouTube TVEPN channel, and you'll be able to win some cool swag, whether it's t-shirts, wristbands, stickers, all that good stuff. We'll go ahead and mail that out to you. So it doesn't matter. Even if you're in Brazil or the Philippines, we're going to get that package out. That's how we get down.
Yeah, why not?
We never hold back. All right, guys. I'm ready to get into this interview portion of the program. This gentleman, he is a legend here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you don't know who Qbert is, or Mixmaster Mike, or Shortcut, or any of these main super DJs, switch the channel. Because those gentlemen, they learned a lot from the guy that I have here in studio, because he goes further back in the old days as far as the beginnings of turntablism, turntable scratching. I have to kind of, I wouldn't say dumb it down, disc, but let people know because we have a lot of viewers. Mm-hmm. They go across the board. Not all of them speak our DJ language.
Right.
So I have to kind of let them know what we're getting into. So this gentleman, he has made everything happen on all levels, whether it's putting out DVDs, vinyl, participating in DJ showcases, DJ battles. He's partnered up with the after mentioned individuals, Qbert and others, and has made his mark on the whole turntablism community. Let's have a big round of applause for DJ Disc. Welcome, sir.
Welcome me.
You don't do too many interviews.
No, I don't.
And I am so happy to have you on. Been a big fan. My intern was able to get us connected, and hey, I've always wanted you to be on the program. Some people tend to kind of stay off the social media grid, which is where we get most of our inquiries to have people come on to the show as people to be interviewed. And finally, found you. And you're able to say, yes, Sam, I'll be on the program. And we have a lot to talk about. But how you feeling?
I feel great. Other than a little sore throat I got from my nephew last night.
Aw.
Mikey.
Mikey, props out to you, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey.
But he could speak, Mikey, so don't feel too bad. Just hopefully it doesn't evolve into some flu or something.
No. But overall, no, I feel great. I feel great. Yeah, I feel physically, mentally focused, and you know, just chilling here with you and
Hanging out?
hanging out.
Hanging out on the Slam Show.
Yeah.
Well, we've had past mega DJs on, whether it's Qbert, Shortcut, Alexander Mejia. These individuals have made their marks on the Bay Area music scene, DJ-wise. You, sir, have been doing it. But a lot of people don't know who you are, and the reason being is because you've kind of kept it to yourself and kind of stayed more under the radar, and that's by choice. We had talked about it on the pre-show because you weren't all about sensationalism or being on social media and doing crazy posts. You're just about making the music, which is rare in this day and age because everyone's all about freaking selfies and self-promotion. But before we get into that, let's talk about the roots of DJ Dis because you've done so much. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done your homework on them, go to tvepn.com and check out the YouTube video of DJ Dis. There's two of them, and one of them, he is on the now defunct Home Turf with Dominic DePrima. And we're going to get into that because that was one of the biggest shows here in the Bay that touched on the grounded roots of the youth, whether it's with hip-hop or other influences. It was a great show. I missed that show.
It was actually.
And I heard Dominic DePrima is still doing stuff over in L.A.
Yeah.
And that's good for her. So, Disc, let's get right into it. On the pre-show, and I was kind of like thrown back by this, you started DJing at 7?
Yes.
Don't tell me it was a 1200. It had to be a Fisher-Price turntable, right?
Well, it was the big brown coffin, the big giant
Component systems.
the components, and then you flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you already have that scratching turntablist mentality, or was it more like playing it and liking the music that you were playing?
It was more of liking the music. And
What was the first record that you could remember playing on
oh my God. It had to have been my mom's collection.
Yeah.
Because she had a big 45 and 1200 albums and LPs and 45s, and she would have it in this gold rack, and she would have it all there. And I was just kind of just curious, like, what's on here?
Yeah.
What's on here? So it was just random music that she would have from merengue, cumbia, jazz. I mean, she had all types of stuff. And the reason why she had a lot of records, too, is because my dad's a famous disc jockey. He was a famous radio broadcaster.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. He worked for a lot of radio stations, from Coffee, and then all the way up to the famous Spanish radio station that was down in the Mission.
What was his on-air name?
Luis Alberto Quintanilla Gonzalez.
That's a mouthful.
And he has one of those bad voices, those badass voices.
Yeah.
So he would just go out there, Luis Alberto Quintanilla Gonzalez. And he would say
It would just
like
flow.
he just has that voice. You know what I mean? You know how
Yeah.
some people just have that voice natural. So that was his name, and but he started on TV 20. He would do the news on Channel 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and then from then on, he went to KIQI AM radio, which he stayed there for a long time, and that's where he became famous for his voice.
Wow.
And that radio station was on 22nd and Mission at
Okay.
the time. It doesn't exist anymore. But
Is any of his broadcasts on like YouTube or on VHS?
as far as
his work. Not that I don't want to
that's a
see
good
yours,
question.
but because that's where you got it from. That's where the DNA comes from.
My dad, he made some CDs. He's a poet. He writes poems.
Oh my God.
So him and his partner made some CDs that that have poems, and it's them, doing these. Because my dad's from Nicaragua, and they do these Nicaraguan sort of poems, and they're very beautiful.
Wow.
And I've heard them, and so he's done vinyl, and you can actually see those on YouTube. And he's done a few compilations where I guess it's just regular compilations where they just have music artists.
Yeah.
But he's in the front, and you see him chilling in the van. It just says KIQI AM radio, and he's just there chilling like this.
That is impressive.
So I got to learn a lot of music from him, because I would go to the station. They would have vinyl everywhere, and I would just be like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And then once in a blue moon, I'd be like, when I think this record,
Five-finger discount.
5-finger discount. I was like, what? They won't miss one record. And I'll never forget the one record I took was the breakdance one. It's breaking, has the guy breaking in the front, and it has Rocket.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it has the kind of remixed Rocket on the other side.
Yeah.
So it was that one. I was like,
the
oh
pitch.
my God, what the hell is this? And I was all excited. I go,
I have that one, and they're dressed up in Adidas, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a breakdance one.
So I got to learn a lot from my dad and my mom, because
there you
they
go.
love music so much.
Yeah.
And my dad would bring home music, and would give my mom records, and she would have her own record collection. So I would go through that. That was kind of like the beginning, I think, stages for me, because I would listen to a lot of the music my mom would play. I would listen to the radio, and I would just sit right by the speaker, and I would just go through every station for hours. My mom thought I had a problem. She goes,
sure.
Are you okay? You've been sitting there for 3-4 hours. I go do something else. I go, no, I want to stay here. And I would just stay right by the speaker like this. Hours and hours.
You're just flipping channels.
Just flipping channels, just hours and hours, and that's it. That was basically my YouTube, my iPad, my iPod, that was it. It was just, and I would try to listen to anything that was, I love things that are different. So I would just search, stuff, and I would go also with my dad a lot to his radio station, just sit there and listen to what he was playing, or what he would talk about, or just go through the whole collection the radio station has. So I would just go through everything, and I can go and listen to it on the turntable, because they had several studios. So when he showed up, there was nobody else but just him and me. So I just go to the other side and just play records and see what the hell was this. What is this? What is it?
And you were how old?
I would say I was around 6, 7 years old around that time. 6, 7, 8, because my dad worked for coffee out in San Mateo.
See, and I believe you. Everyone comes on to the show, they'll try to I wouldn't say fabricate stuff, but kind of sensationalize like their early beginnings. But I believe you 100% this, that at 7, you already knew that music was going to be part of your life. And there you go. You just hit it, right? I mean, your dad and your mom, the DNA was passed on, and you just transformed into this musical entity, as we could say, in this whole sci-fi field that you're always into. Now, let's get into the main meat of how you started doing the real DJing stuff. When did you get your first 1200 and your first mixer?
Excuse me.
Don't tell me.
I would say it was between 9 and 10 years old.
Wow.
That's
real, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 9, 10 years old, and I would go to San Jose Flea Market, and there was a record store there. I don't know if you remember it. There was a record store.
I knew there were
it was a
vendors selling illegal bootlegs and shit like that.
Yeah, so they had that one. They had the one store. I wish I would introduce myself. I was a kid. I didn't know, but the guy had all kinds of East Coast records and LA records, all bootlegs, all white covers.
Right.
I'm thinking, oh my God, if I had a big wad of money back then, I would buy everything. But he would have a lot of the New York Scratch Master records.
Yes.
And I got extremely magnetized to New York Scratch Masters because.
Now, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just to let our viewers know, these records were mega mixes.
Yes.
They were produced mixes where now the term is mashups.
Yeah. I want to say something about that too, but we'll go there.
Yeah, because I created my own mega mixes as well.
Right.
And those were a big influence to the scratch dances, the scratch parties, big influences. And I'm so glad we're on this level. Yeah. People are now terming that mashups, and it's been done.
It's been done.
Way before.
Exactly.
But yeah, going back to your story where apparently a record store in the San Jose Flea Market?
San Jose Flea Market, which doesn't exist anymore, but it's where I kind of educated myself on how diverse you can use scratching with mixing. Like, no, I had never heard no one mix and use scratching at the same time the way those guys did it.
Yeah.
The sound effects, the breakdowns, the perfect mixing. It was just incredible.
Yep.
What really incredible was the scratching, because I'm a huge scratch fan, and obviously the mixing was over the top. It was just, for me, it's advanced.
Yeah, yeah.
To this day, to me, it's advanced mixing what they were doing. But I just remember going there, buying music, bringing it back, listening to it. I did that for a long period of time. My mom had bought me a Montgomery Ward double cassette deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So before I even touched turntables, I was doing the mixing. Actually, let me get that straight. Now that I remember, I even go before the radio. I would do mixtapes off the radio.
Yeah.
So I would do, we just had a cassette and do radio.
Press the pause button.
Right, and
I
just
did the
go
same.
to radios, go to the radio station, pick whatever you want to try to do,
Yeah.
And then obviously I got the boombox, and I started using my own music, and so I kind of started doing that during the time. This is like 1979, 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until 81.
Mm-hmm.
Around 81,
Yeah.
I got my first mixer, which was a pyramid mixer.
Oh yeah, the
And
pyramids.
I haven't seen one since then. It had a built-in echo,
Yeah.
which was the exact echo that was on the New York Scratch Masters. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I begged my mom to death. I go, you don't need to buy me anything for the rest of my life.
Just get the pyramid
Just
mixer.
get the pyramid. So I started with just a pyramid mixer with no turntable, and I was like, what the hell am I gonna hook this up to? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
and my
wow.
mom had just bought a brand new Fisher stereo system.
Gotcha.
And I kind of just thought, and my mom knew exactly what I was thinking. She goes, don't you even think of that. I go, but Mom, how the hell am I supposed to hook up with this, this mixer?
Yeah.
And it went on for weeks, because she loved her music. She goes, you're not going to mess up my music that I play every Saturday morning. I go, I play this music. I go, you've already broken the other two systems. You're not going to break this one. Because I used to take it apart and move stuff, because I just love doing that.
Yeah, yeah, you're a tinkerer.
So finally, she gave in, and I guess she came home, and I was already set up. I had finally hooked up the mixer. I put the mixer on top of the speaker, and it was one of those linear turntables where you got to push the button and go.
Yep.
So I had to wait, and I put a quarter on top of the linear thing,
Yeah.
and it would not skip. It was the best turntable to scratch on. I would just stay there all day, scratch, and I was so short that I had to stand on a crate. As a little kid, I was short. I must have been like 5'4", 6" or something. I was a tiny kid, so I would stand on the crate and I would scratch, and that's how it pretty much kind of started as far as like scratching and equipment wise.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until there used to be, and I think it was only open for 4 months. 4 months, and there used to be a electronic store in Tanfran that used to sell 1200s. Yeah. And I bought my very first 1200 in there. My grandmother and I begged her to death. I go, Grandma, can you please? And she bought me one turntable, I remember, because and the 1200 was cheap back then. I think it cost her $150 brand new, original 1200.
You sure?
Oh yeah, the shop only lasted 4 months. It was owned by an Asian couple.
That's probably the reason why they didn't last. They were selling them so damn cheap.
Well, that was the going price back then.
You sure?
Yeah, and the price didn't escalate. I remember. I'll never forget it. It was expensive for us at the time.
Right,
1200.
right. Yeah.
But I remember it had jumped really fast because of the popularity within a year, and then it went from 150 to 250, and then it started going up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I had bought mine for $150. Obviously, put stacks, $175, $180, and I got my 1200 there. That shop only lasted 4 months, I believe, and that was my very first 1200.
What was the name of the shop?
Taffran. I wish I can remember. It's the one where, I guess when you walk in the entrance, there's that new restaurant, BJ's, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's on the right hand side. So if you go at least two stores down, as you're entering, that's where it used to belong.
Wow.
This is way back. So
If anyone remembers that, that's
yeah.
a classic, especially for not being in business that long.
Yeah. And that's where I got my first 1200.
Now.
At Tanfran Mall.
All right.
And no one knows that. It's probably the first time I tell this story, actually.
here's the thing. You started doing the scratching stuff at that point. Was there any influences? Because every single DJ, main DJ that's come on the program or has done interviews would always say, when I saw the freaking Rocket Grand Mixer DST scratching, that's when I first picked up and saw scratching. Is that the same experience with you?
No. For me, whatever the radio had was my inspiration. I would listen to the AM station a lot, and there was a certain station that would play really old school hip hop and some electro stuff that I never heard of before in my life.
Right.
So I got a lot of knowledge from just listening to the radio.
Gotcha.
Really, and
but how did that kind of like fuel you to start scratching and kind of
well, there was scratching on the radio station.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out like what the hell is that, and it wasn't until not K-Soul, this K-Poo.
Yes.
K-Poo would do a lot of underground of that stuff, and there was also certain AM stations that I had. I don't think they exist anymore, and they were like towards the end, like the 1600, 1700, and I remember I would get a signal from the radio station in LA. For some reason, I can capture the dopest radio station that they were having, which was the one in LA that I think what's his name? DJ Pooh, I think, and then Joe Cooley and those guys would do.
Right.
That was a station I could pick up out of all stations. Was the weirdest thing, and they would play the dopest underground LA hip hop.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So I would just sit there and just listen to that. And so from the scratching point, from there on, I went to. My mom would take me a lot to the quinceañeras, the weddings, all that kind of stuff, and that's why I kind of find it for seeing a DJ move the record for scratching. I go, oh, so that's where it comes from.
Gotcha.
It's that damn turntable. I was like, So then I put two and two together, and
how old were you at this point?
This was like around 10 years old.
Wow.
When I was kind of going through that, and
you were just a young Jedi, just learning. And then there would be kids who were also into hip hop that would come around. I remember this one big tall white kid. He had a boom box, and he played the dopest beat I ever heard. Obviously, it was Planet Rock. Yeah.
I said, what the hell was that? Don't Stop to the Planet Rock. I was like, oh no, what the hell is that? So I got a lot of influence from hanging around kids who were also big hip hop fans. And the radio station. They weren't scratch DJs at my time. There weren't. The only ones that were from obviously were the New York Scratch Masters, people that I heard from LA. It wasn't until I started hanging more out in the streets that I started meeting more guys that were doing
DJs.
But it was extremely beyond rare to find someone say, "Hey, do you know how to scratch?" And they'd be like, "What the hell? What is that?" And even you can even go up to certain DJs and they'll be like, do you scratch? And they'll be like, what is that?
Yeah.
And they end up being disco DJs, you know.
Yeah.
But I haven't had really any DJs influence me. I've appreciated them more.
Gotcha.
And the two individuals that really stick out that I've appreciated them is DST and DJ Cheese.
Yeah.
DJ Cheese was probably one of the first cats that I kind of dissected and wanted to see what was in his head, like why the diverse style. He was one of the first guys that impressed me because every breakdown was a different style. I was like, oh, that's dope. He's not doing the same thing. He's got all these different patterns and styles. So you can say he impressed me, and he made me change the way I think as far as like phrasing.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's dope. You can change, different stuff. And I kind of just would go through different records, basically, and I would hang out at record stores and just kind of listen to different DJs scratching. And a lot of these guys, I didn't know their name. I just kind of just went by the sound. I just captured the sound, you know what I mean? Just capturing. And that's what, as a musician, that's what I do. That's what musicians do. They capture the sound.
Yeah.
So I would capture the sound a lot. And I didn't really know anyone that was super hardcore scratcher. I met a lot of guys that were just DJs, but then they would incorporate scratching. As far as someone that was just dedicated to scratching hardcore, no one.
Yeah.
No one. And if you're out there, I really would like to meet you because I've been in this Bay Area all my life, and there was no scratch musicians at all. I was the only one who had this brain thought of creating a sound that's on a turntable instead of using it as a regular turntable to listen to music, is to actually use a sound and to create it into a musical a form,
Yes.
a musical expression.
Yes.
Because I didn't start off as a DJ. I'm a musician first.
Yeah.
My mom gave me an organ when I was a kid.
An organ?
An organ. So I play the organ. I've lost a lot of it. I don't really know how to play the organ, but I was a really good organ player back then. And so musicianship is my first
Love.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a musician, not a DJ first. So I've used the power of my musicianship, and I've incorporated it to a piece of machine called a turntable that I wanted to create as a musical instrument, but wasn't at all. So I had to figure out, how the hell am I gonna turn this into a musical instrument?
Yeah.
I have this crazy idea, but how the hell am I gonna do it? I was just extremely beyond fascinated by scratching.
Yeah.
It did something to me that no other sound, guitar, drum, bass, nothing can ever ignite the way scratching did. It was the trippiest, most futuristic sound I ever heard in my life, and I needed to learn how to do it.
Yeah. So just so everyone out there could kind of like connect with the certain main DJs like the Q-Birds, Mixmaster Mike, and stuff like that, you're actually basing your experience prior to what Q-Bird and all these guys have put forward as being one of the originators, and that is the cut and dry truth. Share that with our viewers and listeners about that sort of like beginning point and how you really made your stamp in the turntablist community.
Well, moving kind of forward, like between, I guess, 81, 82, and 85.
Yeah.
Those were kind of more, I was learning more, and it was shaping my direction, especially after seeing DST and Rocket.
Yep.
That concurred me that it is possible. Because to take it a little bit back, in 82 and 83, my mom used to wake up in the morning, honestly, and Saturday morning, she needed to listen
Saturday
to
morning
music.
cartoons.
Actually, no, some cartoons, but mainly music for me.
Yeah.
But for her, it was just a dancing thing. She needed to hear music every Saturday. So one day she goes, you're not going to scratch today. You've been scratching all week. You've been driving me nuts. No, today is my music day. Damn it, I couldn't fight it. She was right. I was like, there's nothing I can do. So she walks all the way to the back. There used to be a long corridor that goes all the way to the back to the kitchen. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to scratch. Even if it's not over the beat that I want, or hip-hop, screw it. She's listening to salsa, so I started scratching over her salsa music. I was like, and that's when it hit me, like, really hard. I was like, I wonder how it would be and sound and look for a guy scratching with a band. And this is 82 now, okay? This is before Rocket.
Yes.
And I was like, And I did this. I was like, nah. And I just went.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about it. And I'm here in the living room, 1984 or 83 was it, when Rocket came out. And that's when I was like, wow. I seen the MTV Awards, and I was like, wow, it is possible. That right there ignited me to even move further, because I was like, wow, it does work. You can scratch with the band. I freaking knew it. I was like, I was so happy, because I was like, this whole time I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? I go, is it possible? Am I just crazy? What the hell's going on? I was like, wow, it is possible. So then that's when I kind of, and then during this time, I'm also trying to put together an all scratch crew.
Gotcha.
And at the same time, I'm in my mobile DJ crew, and that was Music Nonstop Productions.
I remember Music Nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was DJ Keys and DJ Slice.
Did you take that name from Kraftwerk?
Yes, we did. I just thought it was a kind of a cool name, just to like Music Nonstop,
Yeah.
But
Props
yeah,
out to
we did.
Kraftwerk.
Yes, we did.
We love Kraftwerk.
Yes. So yeah, I had the DJ crew at the time, and but at the same time, I wanted to put a full-on all scratch crew.
Gotcha.
And obviously, I'm still searching. I meet some cats, but they're not dedicated. Like there's some cats that no one's ever heard of. Like one cat's called Mite Scripps.
Okay.
He was probably one of the baddest white boys I ever seen on the turntable cut.
Is he still around?
No, he's not around no more.
Oh.
I mean, no one's ever heard of this cat.
Okay.
And he was a big influence. And I used to go to his house and we would spar. I think one time we actually even battled in his room, and we did it as a friend thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And these were cats that inspired me because they were really good. And I was like, man, this guy's a badass. I thought I was good. I go, but this guy's badass. And there was a few DJs that impressed me that obviously don't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they were part of my influence of coming up, because I was like, you know what? I finally found some humans that do what I do. Like these guys actually love hardcore scratching. Yeah, they mix, but they actually have the same passion that I do for scratching. Like, they love to scratch. And but a lot of these guys were very hard to get together and stuff. And so around 1985, after experiencing Rocket and learning more, because I used to go out every single day, I would sneak out of the house. I try to learn as much as I could from graffiti, b-boying, as much as I could. I was so magnetized to culture and the different diversity that was around at that time. It was crazy, because you had metal, punk music, and hip-hop all at the same time coming up.
Yep.
And it was extremely diverse. There was punk rockers, skateboarders. It was a beautiful, incredible thing that I haven't experienced since then.
Yeah.
And a lot of that influenced me just from being around in an all-around, well-rounded, I guess you could say, human beings that had all this beautiful talent and different styles of music that I was getting magnetized to. Like, whoa, what the hell is that? Whoa, what the hell is that? Whoa, what the hell is that? And the only way for me to do my research, and to find these, was to go to the record store. So it made me want to search, and that helped me educate myself more on what was, what other music was out there.
Yeah.
And it also helped me change not just the way I think of hip hop, but overall music. And so during that time, obviously I'm trying to look for a scratch musician to start a crew.
Yeah.
The Music Nonstop group was sort of dying down. That's kind of like when all the mobile DJ crew scene started going down a little bit, because they started having hip hop in the clubs and stuff. And I remember we stopped the whole mobile DJ crew, and I was like, God, what the hell am I gonna do now? Like, am I gonna just start my own scratch mobile crew? What the hell am I gonna do now? And I lived in the Excelsior at the time, and I think this is like 1985, and I still haven't met anyone that loves scratching. So I come home one day, and I think that's the story I'm about to tell you that.
Yeah.
And then and Qbert used to, he lived in the same neighborhood, and he used to live on the corner, and literally he lived one house away from me across the street.
Wow.
Literally, yeah, he lived right on the corner. I lived right across the street. I'm right next to the apartment complex.
Is he still at that same house?
He's not there. His mom's still there, I think.
Okay.
But and I had seen him around the neighborhood, and
this one's around 85, right?
this is around 80. This is around 85, and then prior to that, I would see him, with his parents, and I didn't really know who he was. He kind of just kept to himself, and my other friends up the street knew him more, and I was like, what's up with that cat? I go, he's always like to himself, never wants to invite nobody, he doesn't want to play. So, he was just that way, And it's like, all right, cool, he doesn't want to interact with nobody, and blah, blah. So then one day,
Qbert was like an introvert back in the
he was very introvert. He just didn't. He's kind of an ass. He was. I'm not kidding you. He was pretty much an ass, and
see, and that's how you get it.
A lot of the guys didn't really kind of vibe him, and I can name the guys off the bat. Romeo. It just goes on. His brothers, we all lived up the street. We all knew each other. We're all neighborhood kids. We all knew each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I try to interact with them because I had heard he had a big Shogun robot collection.
Yeah, yeah. And he's all into that.
And he
still.
did, yeah. He's still into that stuff. So that's what made me. I was like, oh, cool. He's into that. I go. I love all that kind of stuff. I love Ultraman, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, we were just talking about Ultraman earlier.
Right. So I try to connect him, and he didn't want to connect with me.
Yeah, like he was,
I was like, yeah, screw it. You know, the guy's to himself. And then one day I'm at home. It was afternoon around 3:00. This is like when people are getting off.
oh yeah, this is the
off of
juicy
school.
Cubert story.
Yeah. So I get it. I'm upstairs in the apartment, and it rings the door. I hear a doorbell around 3:30 around that time. I go downstairs, and it's Rich. I call him Rich. I don't call him Cubert, but
Yeah.
Cubert. He was downstairs with his friend Dino. He had which was his partner when they did lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I kind of just like question mark in my head, like, okay, what the hell? This is the first connection he's ever tried with me. All right, what's up? You know, and he was like, hey, what's going on? You know, Lou, hey, what's going on? You know, it's Dino, and it's like, oh, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I go, hey, I heard you DJ. I go, yeah, I do. I go, I DJ, but I do something else. You know, I just scratch. Because when we did Music Nonstop, the Keys used to be that kind of more like dance DJ, and then Steve would do more of the hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being the cutter.
Yeah,
that was the terminology. You're the cutter.
Yeah.
He just does the cutting. He just comes in and he just cuts. And that was my job when we did gigs. I didn't mix.
Yeah.
I would mix once in a while.
Yeah.
And my
But
my
you would
buddies
just come on to do the highlights.
just to scratch.
Yeah,
Because back then it would magnetize people on the dance floor. It was a
agree.
trip.
And
it
it
was
still
kind of like the
does.
first performance of a scratch guy.
Yeah.
It was like doing those dances.
It still does.
It still does, right?
Yeah.
So
Cubert's there on a mission.
So Cubert's there on a mission. Because he already had seen DJing. He already had liked it. I guess he'd seen it. I think he said he went to a school dance, either a bow or something. I can't remember where he's seen it, but he liked it. He was like, whoa, this is cool DJing, whatever, right? But then I told him, I go, what I do is sort of DJ, but it's not. I go, I'm a cutter, and he was kind of like,
What's
cutter?
cutting?
What the hell's a cutter? I go,
Yeah.
come back later, or and come upstairs and I'll show you. Came back, Dino, came upstairs, and then I'll never forget it. He walks in. I have my bed's to the left, and right. As soon as you go to the doorway, that's where the equipment is. 2 12-runners, and I had a 1650 Newmark.
Yes, I had that too.
So he sits in the bed, right? He sits, and then I was like, okay, you ready? Go ahead. So this is what I do. Okay, this is called cutting. This is just me on one turntable, and I just play a beat, an electro beat, and I just started scratching my ass off.
What were you scratching on? Was it the change the beat?
I think it was It's.
Yeah.
Not Fish, and I can't remember the beat I was scratching to.
Yeah.
But I think I was scratching It's. I
Yeah.
think. And all I know is that I look over, and then as soon as I finish, and Cubert's face was like, what the hell did I just see? It just like opened a whole new world.
You did
completely.
it. You started
He
it.
said, what the hell is this? From that point on, for I would say by the 3rd month, he was already doing stuff on his own.
There you go.
But
Bingo.
for 2 months, he would call me every day, at least 10, 20 times a day. There's no cell phone, so he's calling me on the phone. I was like, what the hell is this guy? And he would call me. He goes, hey, show me that thing. He'd get it.
Yeah.
Instantly, he'd get it. And I show him another one. He'd get it. Then he started coming. Then he started calling me. He said, "Hey, check this out." He started creating his own stuff. I was like, "Let me see what you got." Sure enough, he impressed me. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck did you just create?" I go, "That's sick. What is that?" So, with those phone calls, I kind of started shaping, not only me, but also kind of shaping him, because he had never seen what I was doing. I already had my style is very old school, mixed in with the new school, because I've done it for so long. So I have a lot of old school style and flavor in me.
Influences.
So a lot of that, was shown to Q.
Yeah.
But when he started creating his own stuff, he actually started creating, his own thing. And but we would be on the phone literally for 2 months. He called me every single day, and then it wasn't until the 3rd month, and then I started realizing, wow. This is the guy I've been trying to look for. And as soon as I said, Rich, you want to do something together? He said, hell yeah.
Wow.
And
well, there you
from
have
then on, we started working together ever since. The mobile DJ thing kept him busy. Mm-hmm. So we kind of didn't really connect right away.
Yeah.
Because I guess he wanted to do his own thing, and he was all excited, like, oh, scratching, yes, da-da-da-da. And I said, cool, I'll come over every day. I came over to his house every day, and we just
Worked on stuff.
That's it. We just practice scratching. That's it. We come up with new stuff, etc. And during that point, once Lifestyle stopped, that's when he started having connections. I guess he had met DJ Apollo, because Apollo was a dance DJ at the time. I'll never forget. He had a slick hair, leather jacket,
Yeah.
jeans, all
Yeah,
that
Bogarts and shit.
stuff. And so he told me, he came back to me. He goes, "Hey, Lou, this is DJ Apollo guy." He goes, "I'm very intimidated by him." I go, "He's a very popular and very cool guy." And I was like, I go, "What's up with him?" I go, I don't know, maybe we get him involved or something. And I was like, yeah, you know, whatever. And I started kind of veering off. I had lost my interest in music for a year, believe it or not.
You gotta take a break sooner or later.
I just took a break, and
Yeah.
I was, you know, I just kind of I was dealing with life. There was a lot of stuff that I was dealing with, and
Well, I think as far as putting the whole capsule on the Qbert experience, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we have the legendary turntablist DJ Dis here on the program. You were the one. You were the one that made it happen for Qbert, planted the seed to make him the superstar DJ that everyone knows worldwide. And that's forgotten truth in the history.
It's just never been told.
Yeah.
Probably not until now. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad that you came on the program so we could clarify that. But I want to jump into certain knickknacks of yours because we only have an hour
Right.
program, because there's so much you could talk about.
Right.
And I'm excited because we're going to have you back for sure to get into some more details. But what you're known for all the way across the board is the way you manipulate the turntables, being able to create sounds out of just whatever the device is, whether it's pulling out the RCAs out the mixers to create beats, whether it's scratching the needles on top of the felt pads and taking off the music and just using the tone arms. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen that video, check it out at TVEPN's YouTube channel. But he's actually using the tone arms to create sounds in a very over-the-top way, but it is his creative mad scientist approach when it comes down to turntablism. Let me ask you this. What compelled you to do that, to just go way over the top just to go ahead and produce sounds?
I think I was still learning the musical way of trying to be how to be a really good musician. So and I guess I haven't found that 100% fulfillment of being a full-on musician, like a real musician that's extremely knowledgeable about the sound. I wasn't there yet at that time, and
so you felt
my mind was just kind of open. So I kind of was just trying anything to get to where I'm at now.
Gotcha.
That's what it was, and I didn't.
I don't know. Was there like some psychedelic drug or something?
No,
at the point where you're like,
just,
oh my God, I'm just gonna do it.
I was just trying to put two and two together. I think, like, you know, the thing in the back, the wire thing.
Yeah.
That was I think an accident. I think I hit it like this, and it created a beat. I was like, huh, do. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I kind of, a lot of the stuff that I create, sometimes it's either a mistake or just by crazy curiosity. Like, my mind has always been a.
That's a good term, crazy curiosity.
Yeah, it's.
We got to copyright that one.
That's how. Yeah, but that's pretty much how my brain works. It's always going. My brain's always been a creative machine. Always. I'm always thinking. I don't even know how to stop my brain from thinking. Always trying to create new stuff, and that's always how I've been. I just kind of just go for it and just try new things, and I don't mind embarrassing myself if it even looks dumb. Or it's like you look back and it's like, oh shit, I actually did potty tricks, man. That's kind of, you know, that's something I just don't do now. You know?
But
I did, you know, that's just something that I tried, and a lot of it was just a lot of experimenting to see if this works for me better or not, or let me just try it because it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Let me just do it, and, you know. But for me, as long as it's musical and not too much silliness, you know, it has to mean something. Has to mean something to me in a sound way. It can't just be whatever, you know. There has to be some kind of musical thing. That's why, like, when you do the needle thing, when you watch the video, you have to be actually in the studio. When I did that in the studio, the needle actually created an 808 beat.
Yeah, a big
Boom.
low
So
bass.
when you hear it in the studio, it sounded dope because you can actually hear when I nicked the padding, it just boom, 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 boom. And I just kind of with that, I just kind of put two together.
Yeah.
I remember just doing it. I was like, hey, let me just try this. Maybe this will work. And I just, I put two and two together mainly. A lot of it's, like I said, accidents. A lot of it's just brainstorming. A lot of it's just being influenced by other guys that I'll see them doing something. I'll be like, oh, wait, let me just try it a different way.
Well, it's just like the whole, remember when Jimi Hendrix set his guitar on fire, shit like that. That's just being creative, and that's just you trying to stand out and trying to make the situation you versus sticking within the same lane as everyone else. And I totally admired it, and that's something that kind of catapulted you into developing your producing career, putting out DVDs, putting out vinyls. I mean, this is you being able to be a producer. Doing this, being able to be one of the main turntablist guys have also kind of put you in a situation where you had to stand by what you believed in. And one thing I wanted to touch on was the whole term turntablist, turntablism, where there was a certain DJ from LA claiming to have coined the term, but you, on the other hand, has to set the record straight to let everyone know that the whole term turntablism was from you. Touch on that really quick, and hey, feel free to name names.
Yeah, it's the way I kind of, like I said, I've been wanting to turn the turntable to a musical instrument from day one. And it wasn't until the early 90s when I joined my first band, which was MCM and the Monster. And prior to that, DJ Paz.
Yeah.
I had talked to DJ Paz 4 years before that in the early 80s, like 89. And I remember meeting him by Lake Merced, and it was some kind of party. And I was like, hey, what's up, Paz? What you been up to? He goes, oh, yeah, I scratched for a band. I go, what? Scratch for a band? That's dope. Like, it was like since the Herbie Hancock thing, that was the
first
time
band.
that I was like, oh, cool, it must be jazz. He goes, nah, it's rock. I was like, oh, dope. That's pretty original. Long story short, 4 years later, I scratched for the same rock group.
Which group was that?
MCM and the Monster.
Okay.
And they were local, big band. But when I started scratching with the band, I started learning a lot more of how a turntablist is supposed to work with real musicians.
Correct.
And so this was my first opportunity to really kind of expand more and learning more on how I can be this master musician. Because it's not until now that I've reached the epitome of my career. Like, I've done now everything that I've always wanted to do. And at that point, I didn't know yet. I wasn't really
tuned into the whole turntable.
Not tuned in, but not knowledgeable enough. I didn't know enough to really call myself a full-on musician, because I needed to learn more. I needed to learn more. I need to be around musicians. This whole time I've been around DJs and mobile DJ. I go, this is my first crack at being around musicians. This is definitely going to change my way of how I'm going to work the turntable now. So moving forward around that time, I had talked to my bandmates. I go, turntablist. I get it off pianist, bassist, guitarist, and I said, and that's when I clicked on my. I go, turntablist. I go, does that make sense to you guys? And I remember taking a.
So you actually tried to get their approval.
I tried to get their approval because I remember being in the van. We were going to Seattle, and I'm talking to these guys. I go, what do you guys think? And they were like, I go, that's pretty cool. I go, bass. They go, yeah. I go, and I just wasn't sure. I was like, huh. And this is like 92, 93, and and obviously, it hasn't been quite. No one had been using the word yet.
Right.
And but it wasn't until I went to Seattle, and then I did the other record I did has the story behind it too. And it's I did a sound check, and the guy goes, oh, we need to sound check the DJ. And then I was like, by that time, that's when I had reached my limit of patience. Like, you know what? I'm not going to be called a DJ no more. I've been called a DJ for the last 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I've had it. And I go, I'm not a DJ. And they looked at me weird, like, but you have, I go, nah, I'm a turntablist. I said, what? He goes, I'm a turntablist. And he kind of said, oh, okay, whatever. I go. So I go, don't walk away thinking that you actually think it's talking to some guy that's just going, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. When I get off the stage, after you see me perform, you will call me a turntablist. You will remember, and you will know the meaning of a new word and a new style of music. I said, sure enough, when I got off that stage, he goes, man, you are a true musician. I go, no, I'm a turntablist.
There you go. And
that's it. And then from then on, I started working hard to spread the word.
Yeah.
I get a phone call one day from Shortcut, and I think this is like 93, 94.
Props out to John.
Yeah, around that time. So we had already had, it's around 93, 94, around that time. And this is right after the Sugar Fragger shows. This is when people had first seen a full-on turntable band for the very first time. And I get a phone call from Shortcut, and he goes, "Hey, Lou," and it was the evening. He goes, "Hey, what's going on, man?" He goes, I go, "Aren't you by LA?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "I'm at this DJ battle." He goes, "There's this kid with this funny name that really is a big fan of you." He goes, he really wants to talk to you. He goes, "You got time to talk to him?" I go, "Yeah, sure, why not?" He goes, "But you're gonna trip off his name, though." I go, I'm thinking, like, well, how trippy more can it be? I go, "His name is Babu."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
DJ Babu.
I go, "That is a trippy name." I go, "That's cool. I'll talk to him."
Yeah.
And this was a DJ company. This is when he didn't even live in LA. He was living in the hills.
So was the Beat Junkies already made at that point?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't even.
It was just him.
I think it was just him. Yeah, because he was a young. I remember he was just a young kid that was doing a local battle in the hills of LA somewhere. It wasn't even a serious one. No one knew who Babu was.
Yeah, yeah.
And he calls. I talked to him. And he goes, "Here, I'm pass the phone to him." I go, "What's up?"
And these are landlines.
And these are like, so what's going on? Babu. I go, "Yeah, my name's Babu." He go, we started, he started talking to me. He goes, "Yeah," he goes, "You're influenced. I've seen those, I've heard those shows." The Sugar Frag goes, "That's some dope shit," And then that's when I started talking to him about how we shouldn't be called DJs no more. I go, "I'm on a mission right now, Babu." I go, I want to start something called turntablism. I got the word turntablist. I go, "We're musicians, not DJs anymore." I go, "We need to start really changing, because it's gone to the point where it's pretty annoying. It's bugging me. It's like, no, I'm a guy who uses one sound. I create and manipulate it in a musical form.
On a turntable.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It's one fader and one turntable. That is it. That's all you got to work with. And you need to work with that without anything else around you, just like a guitar player would or a bass player would." So I actually schooled him for a very long time, and it made total sense when I said, "You know what? Spread the word around." I go, "That's what I'm going to be calling. That's what I think should be the terminology for all of us and stuff." I don't know where this whole thing where he kind of claims it, which is kind of it's a little disappointing, because I like Babu. I've never had a problem with the Beat Junkies. We've always, they know me. I was always good friends with Rematic, and never had any beef with the Beat Junkies or even Babu. I'm just very disappointed and very surprised that Babu would want to take credit for something that I have started way before he was born, first of all, and way before he started.
Yeah.
And
so you're setting the record straight here on the Slam
Show. I'm setting
the
record straight because, it needs to be told, and
that DJ
I'm sorry, but the lies need to stop. And whatever product you're selling on your Beat Junkie site needs to stop that says turntablist, because you do not own it. I have all the proof at my house. I have the very first flyer that has the word turntablist. You find me something before that, you can claim the word all you want, but I will guarantee you 1,000,000% that you will not find a flyer with the name turntablist on it.
Send me that image.
I have
want to see it.
And it was a tour that I did in Australia.
Okay.
I finally decided that I'm gonna try this,
title it.
and I'm gonna go by this. This is something new that I'm gonna start, and it was and I still have it. It was a tour that I did in Australia in '95.
Scan it or
96,
send me the image. I want to see it.
That's the very first. There's nothing else before that.
That's amazing.
Nothing, and that was the very beginning of pretty much turntable and the whole thing. And 'cause it's, I think what people, I think I even see it now, like the turntablism is not really about what they're doing now. A turntable is a person who uses a turntable as a musical instrument.
Correct.
You create sounds in a musical pattern. You put your soul into it, and you
your expression
and
comes
you
through.
you change your expression, and this is your language.
Yes.
You know, this is completely I mean, it's like a guitar. I mean, it's a bass. This is your instrument.
It's a piano.
The way you should be thinking is way more than what you're doing now. The button, all this kind of stuff is, they're using the word turntablism in DJ, like they're calling themselves DJ turntablists, et cetera, all these.
Yeah.
And it's not that. It's being a musician bubble. It's completely in its own realm, and there's not a lot of us. There's only a few cats that kind of take it there. There's not a lot, and it's being mixed. It's being the word's being used in a different way, and like I said, you know, I hope Babu can realize one day, like, I hope he can remember that conversation we had. Seriously, because I'm like very floored that he wouldn't remember that conversation. And
well, I think after being on this show, it's going to spread like wildfire.
Oh, I hope it does, because you know, and I have it here too. I mean, I've tried to contact him, you know, and he doesn't call me Disc. He calls me Lou.
Yeah.
So I know for damn sure that's his Facebook.
Yeah.
And when I asked him about it, I never got a response back.
Yeah.
And that's weird for me that.
Well, I think we might have
you answer me back, Lou, when I say, hey, what's up, Bab? How you been, etc. As soon as I ask him about turntablists, no response. I contact him 3-4 times after that, no response.
Ooh.
I even contacted Beat Junkies website.
Yeah.
No response.
Well,
I find that kind of weird.
Yeah, I do too.
So either we can meet face to face and deal with this on stage, or we deal this with a lie detector. It's that simple. We'll be on stage. We'll put a lie detector. You hook me up. You can ask us all the questions you want.
Wow.
And that goes for anybody that tries to take anything that I've created. That goes for anybody. Anybody that out there. And you know who you are. You know who you are. I can go on the list of names that I have helped and things that I've created that people try to take credit for. And it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It really is, because I have a lot of respect for all the cats that I have met in my life and work with.
Gotcha.
And they know that.
Yeah.
They know how cool I am and how dope I am to work with. Not a hard dude to work with. But you don't go and walk away and you stab me in the back and you take credit for stuff that I have done. It doesn't work like that. That's why I'm here trying to set the record straight, because it's pretty disrespectful, and it's kind of like a slap to the face, you know, coming from people that I used to hang with as brothers and stuff, and all of a sudden they go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
it's hurtful. But what can you do in this day and age? You know, and a lot of this stuff was prior to YouTube. This is before YouTube.
Yeah, before the whole
thing,
internet online stuff. Yeah.
So when you go on YouTube and you see this stuff, you're kind of like.
Well, I think the next step here is probably seek some legal assistance and take that route. But hey, you're on the Slam Show.
Yeah.
You're voicing it out. I think this is evidence enough where people have to take heed and know that DJ Dis is coming for your juggler.
Well, you know, I don't mind. Like, you know, I've always have given.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a giver. I don't expect money from you. I don't expect you to give me something in return. When I do something for you, it's because I want to help you. Mm-hmm. It's because I know you love doing it, and you see that you love what I'm doing as well. So I'm going to express myself and show you. And I don't expect anything in return, but to give me credibility.
Gotcha.
At least credibility. I don't want no money.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing. Just give me credit.
Gotcha.
Don't go ahead and stab my back, steal and lie, because that's what you're really doing. And if you think that I'm not going to catch you and bust you out, you better go back to your homework and remember who I am.
There you go.
Because you don't mess with me.
Don't mess with Balboa.
You don't mess with the Disc Man. I will call you. And DJs know my attitude. They know
Yeah.
how I act and stuff. I'm not a dude who goes around lies about what I've done. I've never stolen anybody's idea.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I have ever done is original, down to the T. You will not find not one flaw whatsoever, not one. I dedicated my whole life to music, my whole life to turntablism, to hip hop, and scratching, which is my number one love. And all you can do really is move forward. And if it feels, and if you get off by stealing and trying to claim stuff that you've done, you know what? Go right ahead if it makes you feel better. But you will get called out. And I'm just going to have to wait for your response to see what you got and see what kind of evidence you have. Because as far as I'm concerned, I have all the evidence.
Wow.
I have every single evidence that says I created turntablism, I created the word, I started the scratch pickles, I started so many people's career. It's beyond.
It's mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. It goes all the way down from equipment all the way to the QFO.
Yeah.
The QFO.
Yeah, the turntable with
that
the grater,
idea
yeah.
was started by me.
Yeah.
The mixers, Vestex, all that stuff. I have major input in all that stuff. No one knows. No one knows.
I like this. I like that. This
No
is
one.
almost like some sort of like really deep
Oh,
Tesla stuff.
yeah.
Where
This is super. This
yeah.
is stuff that only me and you would be in the room for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the stuff that
And
people,
our viewers out there.
And yeah, exactly. Now that they know, and this is the stuff that they should know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I own a prototype of the very first Vestex mixer?
Yeah.
Me and Kubert were the only ones that owned that. He sold his recently on eBay. I still have mine.
There's your evidence.
Big input.
Yeah.
Faders, all the construction of all the Vestex mixers and all that stuff. That just did not come from just Kubert. Came a lot from me. A lot of my ideas, a lot of the stuff that I always wanted to fix that was wrong in the 80s. We got to fix. He got lucky obviously because he won the DMCs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He got all the hookup. But as far as the ideas and all that kind of stuff, he went always back to me. Kubert always came back to me with ideas, and I try to shape all that stuff that we started, the Sugar Fragger shows, all the Demolition Squeeze, the Pumpkin Squeeze mixtape. That all was started and created by me. That mix is Grand Wizard Theodore's mix.
There you go.
That was a huge, high influential mixtape for all scratch musicians.
You did
You
it.
know what I'm saying? But no one knows that I was involved. No one knows that that's Grand Wizard Theodore's mix, and no one knows that mix that he did. There was 0, 0, 0, 0 input on Kubert. There's nothing in there that all he did was create it. All he did was just put together.
Yeah.
But that's something that's influential to a lot of scratch musicians back then. The booger breaks, the toasted marshmallow feet breaks, all that stuff. The scratching, all the scratch, like the phasers, the lasers. That comes from a different guy called Prod D.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember that guy?
No.
Prod D wasn't even a DJ. He invented the lasers and the phasers and all that stuff and the zigzags. He was the guy that started that, and he's not even a DJ.
Right.
He showed that to Kubert. Kubert went on to do it on his to showcase all this stuff, and Prod D also showed me a lot of stuff with two hands and doing the phaser stuff, and he kind of started that stuff, the phaser.
Right.
And that's part of a lot of what a lot of these cats do nowadays too. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
so by me being filtered through all this connection through all the way down to the scratch pickles, I mean, I'm just connected in every kind of way. And you have to question yourself, well, why would this be connected with all this?
Yeah.
You know, from scratch pickles, I went to Herbie Hancock, to Primus, to Buckethead, to Bill Laswell. I mean, the list goes on and on. Nobody on this planet has a career that I have done in the last 40 years. No one does.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
you were
on a
influential.
musical mission. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be at the highest peak of being a scratch musician, and I've done that. Now I'm at the highest peak because I've always wanted to just showcase what a true scratch musician is supposed to be. I'm probably the most hardcore scratch musician on the planet. I don't use Serato, nothing. I'm straight vinyl, one fader, blah, 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 and that's in one sound.
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you probably really need if you're a turntablist. You don't need buttons and all that kind of stuff.
Well, this has been a very revealing interview with you, Disc. A very candid interview. Before we close out the program, let our viewers know, our listeners, how to reach you, like your websites and stuff like that. Go right ahead.
Yeah, www.turntablistdisc.com. And you can basically just go there. That's the website. There's not a lot of stuff on there. We're gonna put more stuff, but that's kind of the stuff where you're gonna be finding a lot of the documentary, more material. I'm currently making a bunch of albums that are gonna be downloadable, and also you're gonna be getting the physical stuff. So you can find a lot of stuff on there, and
One more
SoundCloud
time?
as well. SoundCloud, SoundCloud. You can look me up, Turntablist Disc, and my website is www.turntablistdisc.com.
Are you on Twitter, Instagram,
Twitter, I'm all that.
Facebook?
When you go to my website, you can go on there. So yeah, I'm on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Periscope as well, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we have more than enough material to fill like 5 hours, and I'm gonna definitely have you back so we could talk more in depth with other facets of your career, and just talk about your next and greatest projects, because you are definitely an instrumental piece of Bay Area DJing, at least to my eyes, and I greatly appreciate your presence here on the Slam Show. And again, I'm going to bring you back. Because you have so much to talk about.
I got a lot more to say. Actually, we can sit here for 5-6 more hours. I know you can do it.
I know you can do it. But thank you
once
once again.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll go ahead and close out with the shouts and plugs. I'd like to thank my entire crew, especially Rock Rage in the back. We have our studio audience. Main man, what's the gentleman's name? Chris.
Ninja Gear. Yo, get your Ninja Gear.
Yeah, he's in the house. Thank you, Chris, for hanging out. All of our sponsors and affiliates, thank you for making the Slam Show happen. And also to the rest of the crew, Sage, Captain Fantastic, all you guys, thank you very much. All right, that does it for this episode of the Slam Show. For myself and everyone here, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.